Well, I got into science not from school, not from academia. I became a scuba diver after I finished high school. I was passionate about the ocean. And so because I loved the ocean, I thought, okay, I'm going to major in marine biology. When I went back to school, I just fell in love with cells and DNA and genes and how that whole process works.
I think one of the big impacts of Vicki's work was that she not only sought the answers to the questions, but she formulated the questions that nobody else was asking at the time.
But I loved puzzles. I loved figuring things out. And so I think that's part of what has always driven me, is just how does this work? I was very, very fortunate. I had excellent mentors all along the way.
I met Vicki when I started as a beginning assistant professor. I had just moved from San Diego, where I was a postdoctoral fellow, and I was literally unpacking my boxes when then this young undergraduate shows up.
I just knocked on his door and said, "Can I work in your lab?" And he said yes, and I was just so excited.
She was amazing. She already had 2 kids at that point.
It was very inspirational, always motivated me. And always, encouraged me to just go for it.
And she was a fantastic student. We published a paper as an undergraduate, which was highly unusual. She won a department award in biochemistry. And then she got admitted to one of the best, certainly most competitive graduate PhD programs at UCSF. And her career after that was as great as the promise that she showed as an undergraduate.
Vicki's work built on phenomena that were described in the 1950s and even before, going back to Barbara McClintock's work in maize, which established maize as an amazing genetic system in which to address questions about how genes influence traits.
She had a lot to do with sequencing the maize genome, as well as really figuring out transposons and connecting the epigenetics to the genetics.
In 2010, on the cover of Time magazine, there was a question about what is epigenetics, what is the impact on your life? Vicki's work, going back 25 years, really started to address that, and she developed tools and answers to questions and interesting biology focused on maize in studying how different colors in maize are produced.
So she sees beyond sort of the box. She sees outside and how that box fits into the village.
A challenge sometimes people have is they only look for what they expect to see. And I think keeping your eyes open for things that you're not expecting can also often be most revealing.
Vicki's had a big impact, not just because of her science, because of her leadership roles as well. This goes from the people that she's mentored in her lab who've gone on to become really influential scientists in industry and academia. She was the head of a professional society, the American Society of Plant Biologists. She led Bio5 at the University of Arizona, and she went on to be the chief program officer of the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation. At the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation, she established a program that, together with the Howard Hughes Medical Institutes, funded a set of about 15 plant biologists.
She had a rough time when she was in high school, and I think when she finally got into junior college after having gone back to get a GED, she realized that she was really smart, and maybe no one had encouraged her along that line until she finally realized that she had the intelligence to make a successful career in science.
As a graduate student, she was a single mom with 2 kids, and she is one that doesn't ever say, "Oh, that's too hard." She has always made me feel good about my science, which is a wonderful feeling. And I respect her so highly.
Well, it's been wonderful to see her as an example of a very strong, intelligent woman taking control of her own life and making an enormous impact and success.
Just follow your nose, follow your passion, and it's really fun.